Welcome back to the channel, The Light Renegades. My name is Anna Maria, and I'm here with the fourth episode of this series, and it's been entitled The Path to Becoming. Now, the core of this message was channeled roughly 10 months ago, along with a lot of other content, which I'll be starting to put out in due time. But when I reworked it 2 days ago, it hit me at just how relevant it was for where I find myself right now. And the understanding that I'm being given is that many of you are in similar spaces, grappling with similar themes in your life. For those of you who don't know, I'm back in Montreal, which is the city that I grew up in, and I'm actually in my childhood home. This is my brother's old bedroom that I've converted into the office. And I'm here to be present for a pretty difficult family experience that we're working through together. Yeah, maybe that's all I'll say on it right now. But it's been tricky. It's been tricky to navigate, and I think I've been sitting with the roles that discomfort, pain, and suffering have in our experience. And I sat to rework this message a little bit 2 days ago now, and some new information came up, as is always the case when I sit with a message anew. It's like new threads of understanding come in to kind of add to the whole. But then yesterday, I met up with a friend, and the discussion of suffering came up, and he said, "Suffering is love." And I said, "No, it's not." In fact, the comment triggered me a lot because I didn't want to believe that suffering and love could be in the same space. Or at least that's not what I wanted to bring into my understanding. But of course, there is a truth to that. And on the drive home, I think it started to sink in that all experiences, all expressions, everything that comes up as emotion is an expression of love in one way or another. And yeah, it's a hard one to sit with. I mean, it's not what we've been told. It's not what we want to believe. It's not what feels nice. I think that's it. It's not what feels nice. And again, this morning when I was just rereading everything in preparation for this video, it hit me again at just how synchronistic the conversation was with this material that's coming forward. But yeah, without further ado, I'm just going to bring in the energies of okay, so actually, sorry, this is something that I wanted to mention separately, but the polarity paradox messages come through from a group of 3 collectives. So it's the Grace Collective, and we'll talk more about them maybe in the next video. Grace Collective, Galactic Alliance, and Pleiadian High Council, and they're 3 very separate energies. I've sat with each of them separately, wildly different, and here the series is being brought forward by all 3. And I think at the start I was almost overwhelmed by the mix of energies and the way the information was coming through. And this new round of me sitting with everything has felt a lot more, what do I want to say? It's just been coming through a lot more easily. It's been feeling nicer. And a few days ago, it dropped in that they've given me a representative called Tripax, or they've allowed me to name them Tripax, is what was explained, as a representative who has a foot in all 3 collectives. So they're able to bring through the energies of all 3, with greater ease. And I mention this because I'm being encouraged to invite all of you to bring in their energy as well. You can do so separately, you could do so collectively, or you could call in Tripax and just see what that feels like for you, what messages may be coming through directly as it relates to your situation specifically. Yeah, okay. So with that, I'm just going to take a second, bring them in. As I always feel it's easier to work through a message when I'm sitting with them. And I'll start. Greetings, loved ones. We return to you in the combined energies of the Pleiadian High Council, the Galactic Alliance, and the Grace Collective. Today's message is one of love, for love is the foundation firmly rooted into every message about the soul's path that you've chosen. And today, love's expression will come through answers to the questions you so often ask, consciously or unconsciously. If things can be different, why aren't they? Why is there war and death and famine and pain and suffering? Why are the dark forces on the planet at all? And why have they been allowed to get as far as they have? And perhaps most pressing of all, why as humans and light workers must you face any of it? Why are you being guided to descend into darkness, to explore the shadows and dense states of existence in order to move forward into deeper levels of understanding and appreciation for your experience? As we've discussed before, much of the true difficulty you face arises from the energy of victimhood that colors your perception of your experience. The belief that circumstances and experiences happen to you, that bad things shouldn't happen at all, and that your pain and suffering should be avoided at all costs. In fact, an entire matrix has been built upon these pillars of understanding, yet they have not served you, for they sell you quick fixes, ways out, and distractions when neither of those work. Instead of helping, they have worked hard to propel you into a state of unknowing, to sideline you from the path to becoming, as a kind of spiritual stagnation, where you are disconnected from the deeper truth of your creative power and your role in shaping your reality. In this state, you often find yourselves dissociating from or externalizing blame rather than facing experiences directly. As a society, you have been taught to look outward for explanation and solutions, avoiding the vital process of engaging with life's challenges in a way that fosters growth and self-mastery. And in doing so, almost abdicating from the task of learning how to process emotions, integrate experiences, and embrace both light and darkness as part of your wholeness. This isn't the case for all. Indeed, those of you taking in this message are largely in different understandings of self, but we wish to address the bleed-through of the programming, because in many ways, many of you can at times fall into a mindset where you even perceive your own soul to be the victim, as if it is not sovereign, as if it is so very separate from source. This perception, often subtle, perhaps unconscious, reinforces a sense of disempowerment, as if you are the subject to forces beyond your control, rather than an intrinsic part of the grand design. Coming to see the soul's path as something that's happened to you and your soul. And herein lies the challenge. You've been conditioned to forget that you are of source, and that source, God, the universe, all that is composed of both light and darkness. So the answer to the questions lie in the very nature of existence itself. You are here to experience the fullness of creation, not just the heights of light, but the range of experiences available to you. And when you choose to incarnate, you agree to enter the realm of duality, where contrast serves as the primary means of growth and self-realization. Without experiencing separation, you would not seek unity. Without facing limitations, you would not strive for expansion. Without moving through darkness, you would not awaken to the fullest expressions of who you are. This interplay of light and dark is essential. What has been understood as darkness, as the bad stuff, is not punishment, nor is it an indication of failure. It is part of the design. The intention behind your journey was was to immerse yourself in a reality where you could evolve through contrast. Source, in its infinite wisdom, desired to know itself in all forms, and so it fragmented into countless expressions. And of course, to a great extent, you were meant to forget, to fully immerse yourself in this experience of separation, to enter the density of human existence and engage with its challenges. It was a part of the grand design, so that you might have the opportunity to rediscover your true nature, to awaken to the truth that you are more than what you have led to believe. Now, you find yourselves at a pivotal moment where you have the opportunity to radically shift out of one state of understanding and into the next. This shift is not merely an intellectual one. It calls for an embodied understanding. It requires facing what has been avoided, integrating what has been denied to you, and embracing the truth of your entirety. You are of Source, and this means you embody both light and darkness, just as Source does. It is crucial to recognize and honor what each side brings to the table, as uncomfortable as that may be. You cannot move forward until you look at yourself fully, as an amalgam of these two equal forces. The messages in this Polarity series, and other messages like it, aim to help you understand how entangled light and dark truly are in the universe, on your planet, and within yourselves. It is woven into your daily existence, and these messages seek to help you become more aware of how this entanglement plays out in your personal life and how it fits into the grand equation of your soul's evolution. And so here we are, urging you to embrace your wholeness, to embrace the idea of light and dark in equal measure, to love both within you unconditionally, to love the expressions of each in your experience for what they are. For only in doing so can you begin to integrate the whole of who you are. Whatever you are running away from are the parts of you that came here to hold the closest to your heart. Consider Mother Earth as an example, playing out a different but in many ways similar experience to yours. Within her are the aspects of both light and dark, and somehow when you reflect on her in her own version of duality, your heart softens. Do you feel it? Can you tune in to what harmony looks like when light and dark are balanced? How could Gaia, or any living being, exist as a pure expression of light alone? She cannot, and neither can you. And this plays out at all the dimensional frequencies between where we stand and where Source is. Gaia's brilliance is not found in endless daylight, but in the balance she holds, where day meets night, growth meets rest, and creation meets necessary destruction. It is in the balance that her beauty and strength lie, and it is the same for you. To reject your inner darkness is to sever yourself from the very source of your becoming. When you cease to fight your shadows and begin to see them as part of your creative power, you become whole. We wish to help empower you to look at all your aspects, acknowledge and honor them, and in doing so, to love them and yourself completely. As an entity that embodies both aspects and chooses how to move forward in the highest of light, regardless of what that might look like. And at risk of stating the obvious again, you all hail from Source, as do we, as does everything around us that ever has or ever will exist. Light, dark, and the vast possible expressions of each. At a molecular level, you are pure potential energy, as is everything else you see. When you broke away from Source, you entered the game, so to speak, from one of countless entry points on the board. Depending where you began, your soul may have grown and evolved in the shadows, slowly making its way towards the light. Or conversely, you may have begun in the light, with the intention of descending into darkness to gain deeper understanding, only to eventually emerge as a transformed expression of light. The soul expansion is akin to an infinity loop, a Mobius strip, where you move through light and dark repeatedly across the span of your journey through time and space. And we will get into more of this in the future. But for now, we leave you with this. In the game of existence, there is no right or wrong way to play. Each go around through the infinity loop looks different, shaped by what your soul, and by extension, Source, has chosen to experience. But you embody all of it. And the true love of Source holds no conditions. It embraces every step of the way that the soul takes. By loving all that you are, every part of your experience, your joys and your pains, your light and your dark, you come closer to embodying the unconditional love of Source itself. All right, so that's the message for today. Let me know what you guys think. I definitely have some more content that's going to be coming out in the weeks to come, both under Polarity Paradox and Beyond the Basics series. There may be some new series coming in as well. I know this has been on the horizon for a while, but I think I've had to surrender to what life has been presenting, and just trusting that the information is reaching all of you exactly when it's meant to be. But that's it for me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.